You're scrolling through social media and you see it. Your ex, happy with someone new. Or your friend just got the promotion you wanted. Or your partner laughing a little too long at someone else's joke. And suddenly, there it is. That tight feeling in your chest, that knot in your stomach, that voice in your head asking uncomfortable questions. Jealousy. We've all felt it. We all hate feeling it. But here's the question nobody really stops to ask. Why does jealousy exist at all? What's actually happening in your brain when that feeling hits? And why does it feel so absolutely terrible? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of jealousy. We're going to understand where it comes from, what it's trying to tell us, and most importantly, how to manage it before it manages you. Because jealousy doesn't make you a bad person, but understanding it might make you a healthier one. Let's talk about it. Let's start at the beginning. Why does jealousy exist at all? The answer takes us back thousands of years. Our ancestors didn't have Netflix and therapy. They had survival. And jealousy, as uncomfortable as it feels, was actually a survival tool. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. If you're an early human and your partner starts getting close to someone else, that's not just emotionally painful, that's a threat to your survival. Your partner provided resources, protection, helped raise children. Losing them could mean the difference between life and death. So your brain developed an alarm system, a psychological tripwire that screams, "Pay attention, something you need is at risk." That's jealousy. It's your brain's way of saying, guard what's yours or you might lose it. The same logic applied to friendships and social bonds. If your ally in the tribe started favoring someone else, you could lose status, protection, resources. Social jealousy kept you vigilant about your place in the group. Now here's the problem. We're not living in small tribes anymore. We're living in a world with social media, dating apps, and constant comparison. But our brains, they're still running that ancient software. They still react to perceived threats the same way they did 10,000 years ago. Your rational brain knows that your partner talking to a coworker isn't a survival threat, but your emotional brain, it's still hitting that alarm button. And that's why jealousy feels so intense and so irrational at the same time. Understanding this doesn't make jealousy go away, but it does help you recognize it for what it is, an outdated alarm system responding to a modern world it wasn't designed for. Not all jealousy is the same. There are actually 3 distinct types, and understanding which one you're feeling helps you deal with it more effectively. Type 1. Romantic or sexual jealousy. This is the big one. This is when you feel threatened by a real or imagined romantic rival. Your partner is texting someone, they mention an attractive coworker, you see them talking to their ex. The underlying fear here is abandonment. It's the terror of being replaced, of not being enough, of losing the person you love to someone better. This type of jealousy is intense because it taps into our deepest insecurities. It asks the question we're all afraid to answer. Am I enough? Type 2. Social jealousy. This is about friendships and social status. Your best friend starts hanging out with someone else. You're not invited to something. Someone else is getting the attention you used to get. The underlying fear here is exclusion. Humans are social creatures. We're wired to need belonging. When we feel like we're being replaced or left out, it triggers that same ancient panic. Am I losing my place in the group? Type 3. Achievement or success jealousy. This is the one people talk about the least but feel the most. Your colleague gets promoted. Your friend buys a house. Someone you know is succeeding in ways you're not. The underlying fear here is inadequacy. It's not about losing them. It's about feeling like you're falling behind, like you're not measuring up, like everyone else is winning and you're stuck. Here's the truth. Most of us experience all 3 types at different times, and often they overlap. You might feel romantic jealousy mixed with social jealousy when your partner gets close to their friends and you feel left out. The key is recognizing which type you're feeling, because each one is pointing to a different underlying fear. And once you know the fear, you can address it directly, instead of just reacting to the jealousy. So, what's actually happening inside your head when jealousy hits? Let's talk about the neuroscience. When you perceive a threat to something you value, your relationship, your status, your sense of self-worth, your brain's threat detection system kicks in. That's the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's alarm system. The amygdala fires up and triggers a stress response. Your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Your heart rate increases. Your breathing gets shallow. You might feel that tight chest, that sinking stomach, that rush of adrenaline. At the same time, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking, impulse control, and perspective, starts to go offline. That's why when you're intensely jealous, you do and say things that later you think, "What was I thinking?" The answer is, you weren't. Your rational brain was overridden by your emotional brain. Jealousy is essentially your brain treating a social threat like a physical threat. It's activating the same fight or flight response you'd have if you were being chased by a predator. And here's the tricky part. Jealousy is a cocktail emotion. It's not just one emotion. It's a mix of fear, anger, anxiety, and insecurity all firing at once. That's why it feels so overwhelming. You're not dealing with one emotion, you're dealing with an emotional storm. Your brain is essentially saying, "Threat detected, initiate panic mode, shut down rational thinking, react now, think later." That's why jealous reactions are often so disproportionate to the actual situation. You're not responding to what's actually happening. You're responding to what your brain thinks is happening, a threat to your survival. Understanding this gives you power, because when you feel jealousy rising, you can recognize it for what it is, an biological alarm that might be overreacting. And that awareness creates space between the feeling and your response. Let's clear up something that confuses a lot of people. Jealousy and envy are not the same. Jealousy is the fear of losing something you already have. It's about protecting what's yours, your relationship, your friendship, your position. Envy is wanting something someone else has. It's about lack. They have something you don't, and you want it. Here's an easy way to remember it. Jealousy involves three people: you, the person you value, and the perceived threat. Envy involves two people: you and the person who has what you want. Example: you're jealous when your partner is paying attention to someone else. You're envious when your friend has a relationship and you don't. Why does this distinction matter? Because they require different approaches. Jealousy is about addressing your insecurity in an existing relationship. It's about communication, trust building, and understanding your attachment style. Envy is about addressing your own sense of lack. It's about gratitude, shifting perspective, and working towards your own goals instead of comparing yourself to others. If you confuse the two, you'll apply the wrong solution. You can't fix envy by controlling others, and you can't fix jealousy by just achieving more. Know which one you're feeling, and you'll know how to address it. Jealousy, in small doses, is normal, even healthy. It shows you care. It tells you what you value. But there's a line, and when jealousy crosses that line, it becomes toxic. Here's how to recognize toxic jealousy. 1. Constant surveillance. Checking their phone, monitoring their social media, tracking their location, needing to know where they are and who they're with. This isn't protection, this is control. 2. Accusations without evidence. If you're constantly accusing your partner of cheating or being interested in someone else without actual proof, that's toxic jealousy. You're projecting your insecurity onto them. 3. Isolation tactics. Trying to limit their friendships, getting upset when they spend time with others, making them choose between you and their friends or family. This is manipulation disguised as love. 4. Explosive reactions to normal situations. If your partner mentioning a coworker triggers a fight, if them liking someone's photo causes a meltdown, if everyday social interactions feel like betrayals, that's toxic. And 5. It never goes away. Healthy jealousy is situational. Toxic jealousy is constant. You're always suspicious, always anxious, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Here's the hard truth. Toxic jealousy doesn't come from the other person. It comes from you. It's rooted in deep insecurity, past trauma, or anxious attachment. And if you don't address it, it will destroy every relationship you have. Toxic jealousy creates what psychologists call a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're so afraid of losing someone that your jealous behavior pushes them away. And then you say, "See, I knew they'd leave." But they didn't leave because they wanted to. They left because your jealousy made the relationship unbearable. If you recognize yourself in these patterns, that's not a judgment, that's information. It means you have work to do, and that work starts with self-awareness. So, how do you actually deal with jealousy in a healthy way? Here are 5 practical strategies. Strategy 1. Name the underlying fear. When jealousy hits, don't just sit in the feeling. Ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of? Are you afraid of being abandoned, replaced, not being good enough? Once you name the fear, you can address it directly instead of just reacting to the jealousy. Strategy 2. Reality check your thoughts. Jealousy makes you catastrophize. You see your partner talking to someone and your brain goes, "They're gonna leave me." Pause. Ask yourself, is this fear based on evidence or is it based on my insecurity? Most of the time it's the latter. Challenge the irrational thoughts before they take over. Strategy 3. Communicate without accusations. If you're feeling jealous, talk about it. But here's the key. Use "I feel" statements, not "you did" accusations. Instead of "Why are you always talking to them?" try "I feel insecure when I see you getting close to other people. Can we talk about it?" That opens a conversation instead of starting a fight. Strategy 4. Work on your self-worth. This is the big one. Jealousy is often a reflection of how you feel about yourself. If you don't feel secure in your own value, you'll constantly fear being replaced by someone better. The solution isn't controlling others, it's building your own confidence. Therapy, self-work, hobbies, goals. Invest in yourself. When you know your worth, you're less threatened by others. Strategy 5. Know when to walk away. Sometimes jealousy is a signal that something is actually wrong. If your partner is doing things that genuinely disrespect the relationship, that's not jealousy, that's a boundary violation. And if you're constantly jealous in a relationship, it might mean you're with the wrong person. Not every relationship is meant to last, and staying in one that makes you constantly anxious isn't love, it's suffering. These strategies won't eliminate jealousy, but they'll give you tools to respond to it wisely instead of reactively, and that makes all the difference. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Jealousy is human, it's ancient, it's uncomfortable, but it's also information. It tells you what you value, it shows you where you feel vulnerable, it reveals your fears and insecurities. The question is, what are you going to do with that information? You can let jealousy control you, make you possessive, accusatory, reactive, or you can use it as a mirror to understand yourself better and grow. Jealousy doesn't make you weak. Everyone feels it. But how you handle it, that shows your character. That shows your emotional intelligence. That shows your strength. The goal isn't to never feel jealous. The goal is to feel it, understand it, and respond to it in a way that doesn't destroy you or the people you love. So the next time that tight feeling hits, that knot in your stomach, that voice in your head, pause, name the fear, reality check the thought, communicate honestly, work on yourself, and if necessary, walk away. You have more power over jealousy than you think. You just have to choose to use it. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment and tell me, what type of jealousy do you struggle with most? Romantic, social, or achievement? Let's talk about it. And if this helped you understand yourself a little better, hit that subscribe button. I create psychology content like this to help you understand your mind and improve your life. See you in the next one.